まず最初にお伺いしたいんですけれども、本作をその作るに至った経緯とか、大体どれぐらいからその開発が始まったのかなっていうのをちょっとお伺いできればなと思っております。
We started it about a year and a half.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
About a year and a half ago. But it was an interesting situation because we were finishing up Killer Clowns, and when we started talking to other people about the next project, we met Malik Akkad and Ryan Freeman at Compass, and we just really connected in a really good way. And we left, and I thought about the game, and we talked about the game, and we came up with the mechanics that it needed to have, and kind of like how Michael Myers would work versus how our killers worked in Ghostbusters or Killer Clowns or Predator. And we realized that there's this great, gameplay and world that we can do with Michael Myers. And so we came back and presented it to Malik, and they loved it, and they understood it, and they got it. And so it was just this really great connection that made it a no-brainer that we would do this game.
どれくらいこれジョン・カーペンターさんと関わってるんですか？
I mean, we just had a call with him the other night, 2 nights ago, and we've been talking with him via email for a while. But this was our big first time to kind of present the game and everything like that, and it was really cool because I'll be honest, like we really want to make sure that he's happy with what we're doing, and so it was really great for us to kind of talk about the gameplay and everything, and him to be excited and him to understand where we were going with it. But the really cool part about our talks with him and the communication with him is he's able to tell us directly what he was thinking when he was making the film. And this is the first time that we've had this type of relationship, with Friday the 13th and Predator and Ghostbusters. We got to talk to a lot of the people, but we weren't able to really pick their brain as much as we've been able to, and also, John Carpenter is a gamer, so his perspective is very much understanding what we're making and what we're doing and why we're doing it, because he understands gameplay. And so it's been a really great different type of connection that we've had with any of the other games.
主にその印象に残ったそのジョン・カーペンターの、オーダーは一体何だったんでしょうか？
That's really the cool thing is he told us elements that we were speculating, but really what we did is we've taken the film and we looked at all of the frames and what Michael Myers does, such as like, why does he turn off the lights in the house randomly in the film? And what we did was we said, in the game mechanic, if you're in light, you can't do a certain thing. And so we're taking those pieces and just from our talk with him, we kind of explained how much we knew the film, and he was able to like understand what we were doing really well. And so it was really cool because it was just kind of like we said these things and he, that makes sense and that's really cool. And for me to present like these gameplay mechanics that are the first time that we're saying something big such as shape jump, where you have the ability to disappear and there's this other visual world. It was really worried. I really worried if he was going to like it or not. And when we showed it to him and we talked about it, he liked it. And so it was like, oh my gosh, that's exciting. And then we have other elements in the game that are very new to the universe because of gameplay mechanics. And he understood and he got it, and then he gave us a little bit of kind of secret sauce of what he would do in the film to kind of build up those things, and so like it's really cool having him. But the other interesting and great part is we do work with Compass as well, and they've been working on the entire Halloween franchise. So we've been getting a lot of really kind of secret information, things that they don't want to be publicly known because they feel like this is the very special element of what makes Halloween Halloween. And they've been really great to kind of keep us in the correct thing. So I'd say like if we're talking about like the Halloween game, not only John Carpenter but the Compass group, are both kind of keeping us really to make the most authentic Halloween that we could ever make, because they're telling us the secrets that they would tell maybe a filmmaker, but they don't talk about it publicly because then other people could just steal their secrets. It's very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Randall. Ramble.
今回はその、映画シリーズでいうともうその第1作目にフォーカスあったのか、それともシリーズ全体を扱ってるのか、それともオリジナルの今までの要素を集めたオリジナルのそのハロウィンとして作ってるのかというのはちょっとお伺いしたいです。
So it's 1978. We really feel that film is the genesis of Halloween as the massive brand, but also what we really decided. Making a game that looks like 1978 and it's correct 1978 is very difficult because it looks different, and the decor and the world and the architecture and everything, the way that people dress and everything is so different. The 70s is so far away, where when we decided to do 1978, we thought about doing other parts of the franchise. But what we realized is if we did other parts of the franchise, we wouldn't be able to make it feel like a authentic 70s like vibe and have the world to be kind of like a period piece. Like if you think of a samurai game or a World War II game, they don't jump to the other parts because it's just so costly to do, but also you keep that focus to make it authentically look like that era. And so 1978 is so weird and tacky that we really decided to focus on that, but it's also because I feel that the 78 film is kind of the first station of all of the other ways that Halloween goes, and Halloween goes into so many different worlds that we definitely pull from pieces of that for inspiration, but that 78 film is truly the thing that we want to focus on to make it the best. Plus, in 1978, this thing didn't exist, so being a serial killer was much easier.
ジェミリー・カーティスは起用されてるんですか？
We're primarily just talking about John. We need to hold off on a lot of things because we're still talking to people, but it's John and Donald Pleasance are the things that we have to do correctly, and we're going to do them to the best that we can before we start to think of any of the other cast of the film, because there are just so many people in the film. We just really want to focus on John and Donald Pleasance right now.
ゲームシステムとしては、非対称アクションゲームだとなんでしょうね。
Yeah. So,
single player and multiplayer, yeah.
So single player is going to be Michael Myers' perspective of the film. So in the film, you see Donald Pleasance's perspective chasing Michael Myers, and then you see the babysitter's perspective. You really see Michael in a third person. And so the single player of the game is going to be Michael Myers, and then the multiplayer will be one Michael Myers versus 4 hero characters, and they will have to try to protect the part of town that you're in. And the NPCs and the civilians from being killed by Michael. So it gives us a very different asymmetrical experience, and that honestly I don't think anyone's really played or experienced, which allows you to feel like the town is being attacked and you're trying to save the town, versus the other asymmetrical games that we've done where you try to do X, Y, and Z to escape. Like we're constantly trying to iterate the asymmetrical game styles.
そのマイケル・マイヤーのその視点ってのは分かったんですけれども、あの映画で、印象的なのって、そのマイケル・マイヤーが子供時代にお姉さんを殺すシーンがあるわけなんですけれども、そこは追体験できるようになってるんですか？
We'll see.
Single player.
We'll see. We're not getting deep into the story, but there is a lot of really cool story and really cool pages we're pulling from the film that you're going to experience in very cool ways. We're holding some of that back.
イルフォニックさんの特徴としましては、ゴーストバスターズもそうだったんですけれども、なんかオリジナルのそのストーリーっていうのはなんか、プレデターのそのカセットテープで語っていくみたいなのがあったわけなんですが、そういった要素もあったりするんでしょうか？
Following the film, but
He means tape cassettes.
Right.
So found
sorry.
content. So
Yeah.
we're going to do a lot of things that we've done in the past that we feel are very fun. Found content and Easter eggs and secret elements are going to be all over the game. Like really what we want to do is we want to have not only like found content, but also just kind of elements that you come across and if you know the film well, you're like, oh, that's where this happens and that where that happens. And we're going to pull a lot of story elements. And that's the thing about our previous games is the cassettes and the original content that we did was always limited by the fact we couldn't do single player. And now that we're doing single player, a lot of that story and a lot of that lore and world building that I feel IllFonic is known for is going to come in the single player. A really cool thing that we did, that we have evolved at IllFonic though, is most of the games that we've done in the past, we wrote primarily from IllFonic and a few collaborator writers, but with this game we actually brought in some really great writers, Adam F. Goldberg and Hans Rottenoff, and then our other writers that we used in Ghostbusters. So this is by far the biggest writing team we've had, so there's going to be a lot of really great content and story coming out of this game.
今日一番聞いてて嬉しいなと思ったのがジョーカー・ペーターさんのいろんなそのやり取りとかその撮影中に考えていたことというような御社がいろいろヒアリングしてきたわけなんですけれども、なんかそういったものをなんかボーナスコンテンツとして見てみたいなっていう感じがしました。
I'm glad you understand how cool it is because we like literally my 3 favorite films out of 10 are made by John Carpenter, and so getting to talk with him and present what we were doing with something that he made and him liking it was very scary. I like that's the last thing I want to do is have John Carpenter remember me as someone that didn't do something that he liked.
マイケル・マイヤーの魅力というのをちょっとお伺いしたいんですね。
The coolest part about my luck as a game developer is when I joined IllFonic, I got to work on Friday the 13th, and I knew that Jason was this big monster that would bust through a door and chase you. And then we got to do Predator, which was this big monster that would stalk you from the trees, but you would know where it was, but not really. And then it was just those really scary moments. And then, of course, Ghostbusters being a ghost and jumping out of objects, and then Killer Clowns being these crazy space clowns. But the thing about it is, Michael Myers is so different than the rest of them. He's more of a snake that waits for you to come to him. Because of our mechanic of shape jump, I could see you running in a certain direction, and I can turn invisible and fly around the corner and set up a trap and then jump scare you. And so this game is so much more scary than any of the other games because Michael Myers is this scary, slow, silent killer, and because we're gamers and we're goofballs, we tend to see the killer from afar and try to make fun of him. And the thing about it is, in most games, you see the killer from afar and you turn around and you leave. They're still behind you or they're in that spot. But Michael Myers now has the ability that he can run anywhere in front of you to try to trap you. And that makes Michael Myers this kind of probably the scariest killer because he could be anywhere at any moment and you just never know. And playing the game as much as we've played, I've had so many moments where I'm just casually playing with one of the devs and I turn a corner and they're there and they kill me, and it's just like it's so scary and shocking. It's just he's such a cool killer because of how he can just be anywhere and how you think that he's weak because he can only walk, and you then just you fall into his traps all the time. It's so true to the Halloween IP.
ハロウィンのファンに向けて楽しみにしてる人に向けてメッセージがあるかなと思います。
Oh yeah, we hope that the Japanese players love Halloween and love horror the way that we love the Japanese horror and horror games that we get out of Japan. And I think that that's the coolest part about horror is you don't really need to understand the culture as much as you need to understand like being scared. And I think that that's the really fun part is if you're a Japanese player and you're playing Halloween, you're going to experience a world that you've never seen because America in 1970s is very, very different than what I feel like a lot of people know and really register with because it's before social media, it's before, you know, mass handheld, you know, recording devices. So it will be a very new world for Japanese players to play and understand. But I also think that, you know, from our experience with Japanese players, but also the horror scene in Japan, we're definitely like if we're trying so hard not to let anyone down with this thing that I think that the Japanese players will see a very different game that they haven't experienced, and I hope that we inspire the Japanese devs by what we've made, the way that Japanese developers have inspired me for very, you know, a really long time to kind of, you know, do our own version of horror because, you know, BioShock and Silent Hill and all of the you know great Japanese horror has inspired me for over, you know, 2 decades, and I think that it's very exciting for us to make something for them, and then hopefully it goes back and forth, and we continue to share ideas.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.